Hello, dear astrology lovers, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexandra, and I'm a professional ESAR certified astrologer. In today's video, we're covering the astrological transits for August 2026 and what a month it's going to be. We're entering the eclipse season, and on top of that, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Sun are all changing signs. Also, Mercury has just finished its retrograde journey through Cancer, and we're all eager to finally accelerate and move forward again. If July was marked by delays, misunderstandings, a melancholic mood with Mercury retrograde in Cancer, insecurity as well, or questioning different areas of your life, August is going to be quite the opposite. We're all going to feel a noticeable shift in energy, not only because Mercury is now moving direct, but also because of all the other planetary shifts taking place throughout the month. And now let's see what you can expect on a personal level. Hello, dear Leo Rising. This is your horoscope for August 2026. All I can say in your case is what a month. You will have a stellium in your first house in the sign of Leo, and it will include Mercury, Jupiter, the Sun, and around August 12th, there will also be the moon and a solar eclipse, which is also a new moon. All these things will be happening in your sign. This could be extremely impactful over the upcoming weeks and months, but let's start with the planetary changes happening in the first 10 days of August. First of all, Venus, the planet of love, is entering the sign of Libra in your third house on August the 6th. And just a few days later, on the 9th, Mercury will enter the sign of Leo in your first house. When this happens, Venus in Libra in your third house, Mercury in Leo in the first, and Uranus in Gemini in the 11th will form a beautiful lotus configuration. If you're not familiar with this configuration, it consists of two sextiles and a trine, so it's very beneficial and harmonious. This means that the first half of the month could bring sudden positive news because Mercury, which represents communication, is transiting your first house and is well aspected by Uranus from the 11th and Venus from the 3rd. If you've been awaiting a response, results, or an outcome, they could arrive in the first half of August, especially around mid-August, and they could be quite positive. If you ask for something during this powerful transit, the answer could be a big yes. And this primarily refers to your friends and connections. They could be willing to help you with whatever you need. It could be a job referral or anything you care about at this specific moment. And what makes this transit even more special is the fact that until mid-August, Mercury will be in conjunction with Jupiter in your first house, and both of them will be well aspected by Uranus in the 11th and Venus in the 3rd. So amazing opportunities could come to you completely unexpectedly, especially if you have similar aspects in your birth chart. I'm always mentioning your birth chart and similar aspects because your birth chart is your universe. It's the basis of everything that's happening, and whenever there are aspects in the sky that resemble the aspects from your birth chart. It means that it's your atmosphere and something from your birth chart can be activated. In this case, somebody could reach out and offer you something that could help you thrive. Mercury is the ruler of your second house, which represents money, and Jupiter is its significator. So it could be an unexpected payment or an opportunity to earn money. Also, Jupiter is the ruler of your fifth house, which is the house of love. And Venus, which is expecting it from Libra, is in your third house. And it also represents love and relationships. So for some, this could mean falling in love. With Uranus in Gemini in the 11th house involved, it could be love at first sight or love through friends. You could go out and meet a friend of a friend. For example, if you're single and would like to change that, the days between the 9th and the 15th of August are amazing for being more visible and potentially meeting someone. For some of you, it could also mean meeting someone online, either through an app or on a regular social media platform. And this is especially true for those who have a harmonious aspect between Venus and Uranus in their birth chart, or Venus in the 11th house and similar. The first half of August is also great for communication. If you have any important topics to discuss, you can do it around the 9th of August. These aspects are also extremely positive for content creators, influencers, and anyone who speaks and works in the digital world. You could start growing your audience, or if you're already active, you could become more visible and creative, and your audience could become more responsive to everything you have to offer. On the 12th of August, there will be a powerful solar eclipse, which is also a new moon in your sign, in your first house, and it could mark an important new beginning on a personal level. If you're interested in becoming more vocal about something, more visible, becoming a content creator or an influencer, working in marketing, or starting your own online business, the next 6 months could mark the beginning of that. And this is all boosted by Jupiter's transit through Leo in your first house. And if you haven't seen that video yet, make sure to watch it after this one. I dedicated separate videos to each rising sign so you can learn more about Jupiter's transit through Leo after watching this video. And this eclipse, particularly, will happen at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have any planets around this degree, you could experience significant events over the next 6 months, especially on a personal level, such as personal goals and needs. The conjunction is absolutely the strongest aspect. And then, if you have any planets around 20 degrees of the other fire signs, as well as the air and fixed signs, this eclipse could shake them up a little bit and awaken their natal potential. So check which houses they rule and what kind of story they have to offer. In the weeks and months following the eclipse, incredible opportunities for you could appear for you to shine and even improve your finances. Maybe it's time for you to grow and level up. This eclipse is happening on the south node, which is like a hole that sucks everything in. So, in this case, it could be your old identity. The first house represents you, and Leo represents the ego and self awareness. If you've been shrinking yourself in order to fit in, maybe it's time to change that. Maybe you are not in the right environment. And I'm mentioning it because Uranus in the 11th house will be harmoniously aspecting the planets in Leo in your first house. So maybe it's time to make some changes in your social circle as well. Also, with this powerful eclipse in your first house, you could change the way you present yourself because you're changing the way you feel about yourself. This could be the moment when you step into your true identity. You could decide to stop hiding your true interests, talents, and potential in order to meet other people's expectations. You could also change your priorities and start living quite differently, not only around the time of the eclipse, but also over the 6 months that follow, because the impact of an eclipse is 6 months. Overall, all these planets in Leo in your first house will be in opposition to Pluto in the seventh, and there could be some radical changes in your relationships with other people as well. So try not to exaggerate in the days surrounding the eclipse because some harsh words could be said, so pay attention to that. Mercury in Leo will be opposed to Pluto, and Mercury in Leo can be quite dramatic. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And another big change is happening on the 11th of August, right before the eclipse. This is also important. Mars is entering the sign of Cancer in your 12th house. And right after stepping into Cancer, it will form a T square with Venus in Libra in your third house and Neptune in Aries in the ninth. The 12th house is right behind your back. It's the house of hidden enemies. So be careful and don't trust everyone until the end of September, when Mars will enter your first house. Mars is in its fall in Cancer, and while being squared by Neptune during the first half of the month, it could be quite malicious, especially if you have similar aspects in your birth chart. I can't underline this enough. Your birth chart is everything. And with the third house involved, pay attention to whether someone is talking behind your back or secretly working against you. Just, mm, be on guard. And the 12th house is also the house of wild animals. So if you're traveling to any exotic places, or you're planning to go on a safari or something similar, just be careful with wild animals. Don't be too relaxed. Wild animals are represented by the 12th house because they attack in a very invisible way. They're very quiet, very slow when they want to attack their prey. So that's all your 12th house. And with Mars in its fall there, especially if that house is afflicted in your birth chart, just be careful with wild animals. And then in the second half of August, Mars will form a square with Saturn in Aries in your ninth house. Saturn is the ruler of your sixth and seventh houses. And if you have any similar aspects, then pay attention to your work, health, and relationships during the second half of the month. Try to avoid conflicts because they could bring frustration, hatred, and passive aggression with Mars in Cancer in the 12th. With the 12th house involved, make sure to also get enough sleep and rest, and don't overwork yourself because it could impact your health. Also, with Mars in the 12th, try not to overthink. Our subconscious mind can be quite active with Mars transiting the 12th house. And the second half of August is not so beneficial for long distance travel because Saturn will be squaring Mars from the ninth house, and the ninth house represents foreign countries. So Mars will be in its fall in the 12th, and the 12th house represents faraway places. So the ninth and the 12th houses are both connected to travel, especially to faraway places with the 12th house. And an interesting thing to know is that the 12th house represents your home in a foreign country because it's the fourth house from the ninth. So keep that in mind in August. Mars and Saturn will be in a T square with Venus in Libra in the third. So again, not so good for driving and traveling. And this is also an indicator of challenges in communication with other people. Both Venus and Libra represent relationships and diplomacy, and their energy will be blocked by Saturn because of the opposition they'll form. So the last 10 days of August are not so convenient for important requests and conversations because what you want and need might not resonate with the other person. This could refer to your boss, for example, because Venus rules your 10th house. That just a possibility. In the last 10 days of August, you might feel a bit lonely, maybe, or like something is blocking you from finding the right partner or being truly happy because of the opposition between Venus and Saturn. And this is also an aspect of long distance relationships. So, with Venus in your third house, your thoughts could be focused on missing someone and feeling the heaviness of the distance. But just try to rest during those days, connect with nature, and ground yourself. Of course, I'm trying to cover as many aspects as I can and be very detailed. So, just take what resonates, leave the rest. Again, when it comes to the opposition between Venus and Saturn, those who have similar aspects in their birth chart are prone to such energy. Venus is a fast-moving planet. It will not be in a position with Saturn for too long. So just those days could be a bit challenging. And just try to rest and let the transit pass. Also, Venus, Mars, and Saturn, the ruler of your seventh house, will be in a T square closer to the end of the month, which could contribute to tension between you and your existing or potential partner. There could be some conflicts, jealousy, maybe bitterness, depending on your own situation. So just try to avoid talking or reacting too much or bringing up some important topics is not the best moment. Just let these aspects pass and um, rest assured that better days are on the horizon. And on the 23rd, the sun will enter Virgo in your second house. And on the 25th, Mercury will follow. Both of these planets will be squared by Uranus in Gemini, so the end of the month could be a little stressful when it comes to finances and payments. The affliction will be active until the end of the month, and on the 28th, we'll have a lunar eclipse on the North Node at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have planets around 4 degrees of Pisces and the other mutable signs, as well as the Earth and water signs, this eclipse could trigger significant changes. This eclipse will fall into your eighth house, and on the day of it, the sun will be in conjunction with Mercury in your second house. And together with the moon in the eighth, they'll be forming a T square with Uranus in Gemini in your 11th house. This could shake up your finances. While the first half of the month is quite beneficial, the end of August could bring some unexpected twists and turns. This is not for everyone, of course, because, first of all, for events to be activated, the eclipse has to fall on a planet or house cusp or form a strong aspect with the planet in your birth chart. If the eclipse is activating something in your horoscope, and on top of that, you have similar aspects in your birth chart, it could bring some important events. For that reason, I wouldn't recommend taking any risks in your case, in your finances, such as taking out loans, borrowing or lending money, or making big investments, because it could cause you too much stress and bring unexpected disruptions. This is for those that will have strong activations by this eclipse. And if you don't have any similar aspects, or if the eclipse is not activating anything in your horoscope, then this is not your story. For some, this eclipse could bring a radical change in your sources of income in the weeks and months following it. Also, some connections and collaborations could simply break and push you to look for better options. The good thing is that this eclipse is happening on the North Node, which works like Jupiter. The North Node is quite beneficial, it represents growth. So, for you, it could mean that it's time to grow. But before you can grow, you need to break away from your old way of functioning if it's holding you back. Overall, with Uranus so prominent, the main theme of this lunar eclipse is change, and it could primarily be in the way you manage your finances and resources. As I said, the effect could be felt in the 6 months following the eclipse, so pay attention to what's going on and feel free to share it in the comments if you want. So not every eclipse will impact everyone. And if it does impact you, try to stay grounded in the last week of August and remember that even if change happens, it's nothing but an opportunity for growth and expansion, even if it doesn't seem like that in the beginning. To sum everything up, August is a dynamic month. Try to make the most of the positive aspects and stay grounded at the end of it. I hope you found this video useful and inspiring. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. It will help it grow, and stay up to date with my monthly horoscopes and other astrology videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.